episode of your favorite podcast, Lovealadijonnaise. Welcome back, guys, to a very special episode from season 4, because this is the Halloween special.
The Halloween special. I don't know if you thought that we would ever do that one, but here it is, Halloween special.
Exactly, guys. We wanted to prepare something special for the occasion. And, well, the purpose of this episode is, well, of course, to talk about Halloween, because this is Halloween. But since Halloween is not part of our tradition, even though it's not, of course, we have in some way lived it, because it has become so international that I really doubt there is any country in the world that
doesn't.
I mean, not that celebrates, but it has something related to Halloween.
Yeah.
So first of all, we want to talk about Halloween. How do people celebrate it in each other's countries?
Mm-hmm.
And then, since we already explained it's not part of our tradition, we really want to talk about and share with you what we do celebrate around these dates, more or less. That is maybe it's not for the 31st of October, but maybe, for example, in my example, in Mexico is on November the 2nd, and in Sam's example is in February. So, and that at the end of the story is something related to the death. So yeah, we want to talk about it, and at the end we want to close up with a horror story, but a real one. I mean, a horror, more than a horror story, a horror experience.
Like a creepy experience happened to us.
That happened to us. Not together, but each one of us, we have kind of creepy experiences. So just to end up with that, with a kind of horror moment, and that's it.
Oh my God, yeah. And actually, no, I'm gonna talk about two things that are in that we celebrate in Slovenia. One is related to that and is on November the 1st. The other one is something else, but we also put costumes, so we're kind of like Halloween type of thing, cool. But not really Halloween.
Perfect. So let's begin. Let's begin with you.
With me, okay. So personally, I don't celebrate Halloween. I never have celebrated Halloween or put any costumes on the Halloween.
Yeah.
But as you said, throughout the years, the Halloween, I think, has become very international. And as we said in the beginning, literally, I don't think any country in the world that doesn't have something related to Halloween. Mm-hmm. When I was a child, I remember there weren't a lot of things in the stores related with Halloween or people weren't having like those Halloween parties or costumes on that they put costumes October 31st. But now I notice that every year in the stores you can find whatever decoration of Halloween, literally whatever, and some people, they actually put this decoration in their houses, apartments, for purposes of Halloween. And for what I also seen, there are a lot of parties around these dates where people of our age, they dress up in costumes and go and have party, the usual thing.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what we do. I think it was actually last year. Yeah, it was last year for Halloween that actually I was at home and some children, not like really young, but they were around like 11, 12, maybe 10, 11, 12. They came, they knocked on my door of my apartment, and they were dressed as like Halloween costumes. They were like doing the trick-or-treating, as people in the US call it. I didn't have anything, I'm sorry, but yeah, for example, that's something I noticed, and it's very different from when I was a child. I never used to do that around Halloween. But that's pretty much what we do, people do in Slovenia, like decorations, parties, and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. The basics.
Yeah, no, I think, for my part, it's pretty much the same. Maybe since way before I got used to see Halloween stuff since we're neighbors of the US.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah, so I have always seen Halloween stuff. Personally, me and my family, we don't celebrate Halloween. We haven't ever done it. But for example, I hear there are some people that they do the trick or treat since they were children. For my friends.
Really?
Yeah. and they're used to dress up and stuff. And of course, I mean, nowadays that we are a bit more grown up and stuff, it's been already a couple of years that I have gone. Not almost every year. I mean, excepting the pandemic, of course, we're taking those years away. But excepting pandemic, I think like there were like 3 or 4 years. Yeah, 3 or 4 years in a row that I was dressing up for a costume party.
Like a Halloween
Yeah,
costume
a
party.
Halloween costume party, which is very cool. Actually, also the nightclubs here in Mexico during Halloween season, they do like a conquest, like a costume conquest. Of course, in order to bring more people to the nightclub. But what I do is like, oh, the best costume of the night wings, I don't know, like a free pass for a month and free bottles. Like those type of awards and stuff. And I mean, which is very cool when you're used to go to nightclubs. I used to see more children doing the trick or treat here in my street. Currently, I think it's been already like, excepting pandemic.
Again.
More or less like 4 years or 5 years that I haven't seen or heard any child doing the trick or treat, but that's because of violence and insecurity here in Mexico has been even worse and worse. And of course, parents don't allow children to go out, and also because since years ago we started seeing on the news that bad people, they were putting drugs in candies.
Oh my god.
So they were drugging children. So trick or treat, at least here in my street I haven't seen trick or treat in years. But that's very sad. But the thing is, like, what I want to say is like children are kinda used to do the trick or treat. Maybe more in the northern part of Mexico, but at least here, not a lot. But some people and children, they do the trick or treat. And well, of course, stores. I think like we actually cannot go to the store now, and I'm pretty sure we can find at least something.
The other day I went grocery shopping with your parents actually when you were working, and we saw already for Halloween type of thing decorations. Actually, also with us in Europe, they put it early. For Halloween and Christmas.
Also Christmas.
First they have Halloween already now, and then in October they're gonna have for Christmas, which in my opinion ruins the vibe, but
of
okay.
Course. No, I also think the same.
It ruins the vibe totally. But yeah, with you they're more used to do the trick-or-treating and Halloween because, as you said, you're a neighbor of the US.
Yeah.
But I think also with us now, children nowadays, they're more used to than, for example, I was. But you were more used to when you were a child.
Well, yeah, more used to because, like, since we're neighbors, I've seen that since, like, my whole life, basically. And it's actually a very cool stuff in the US. I've gone to Disney in Halloween season, and it's amazing.
Really?
They do an amazing job in Disneyland. And
cute.
Of course, here is not the same, but you do see a lot of those things.
And well, that's pretty much how in Slovenia and Mexico we celebrate Halloween.
Yeah.
But now we would like to touch on our traditions. Yeah. What do we celebrate?
That we do personally, and as a country we celebrate.
Around these dates.
Yeah, well, let's begin with you.
With me? Okay. So as I mentioned earlier, this holiday is on November 1st. And I think it's not only in Slovenia, and it's in more countries that they celebrate. Well, we celebrate. And it's kind of sad, but we call it the Day of the Dead, meaning like you remember your loved ones that passed away. And what we usually do is, well, nothing special. We just go to the graveyard, and we put nice flowers. We light the candles. And that's basically it. We remember our loved ones.
Yeah, but it's like a sad or serious, not celebration, but
it's not really celebration that you would say, let's celebrate. No, it's more like a remembering your loved ones, of course, in a good way. We always try to remember in my family our loved ones in a good way, not to get sad. And usually before November 1st, they tend to put those I don't know how to call it, but they make like special bouquet of flowers that is actually made for graveyard.
Yeah.
And they tend to put it a couple of days before in the stores so we can buy, and there are more candles than usually in the stores, and that's basically it.
Yeah. No, but I mean, very different. It's gonna come the time when I talk about it, but very different from Mexico.
Yeah, it's very different from Mexico, but that's, for example, one of the around the Halloween things what we celebrate.
Like a holiday.
Like a holiday.
Yeah, like a holiday. And which one is the other one that you were mentioning?
No, you mentioned first the Day of the Dead.
Okay, so the Day of the Dead, or in Spanish, Dia de Muertos, it's a very, by now, international known celebration.
Literally.
Thanks to Coco, the movie. And guys, if you've never visited Mexico, and of course you've never visited Mexico during November, just imagine Coco. That's how it looks like in the street. Well, not in the street like Coco, because Coco is actually a town. I suppose in towns it's like that. Actually, it's like that. But in the city, like Guadalajara, Mexico City, Monterrey, and those cities, of course you don't realize about it because it's a big city. But it's very much like in the movie. I mean, we like literally. On the other hand, for example, from your celebration, ours is a very joyful and happy celebration because we celebrate the dead. Literally those ones that passed away, our beloved ones, family members, etc. Like, we remember them, but we basically do a party for them. Why? Because we are happy that they're enjoying life, whatever they are. If you are Catholic, you celebrate that they're in heaven. If you are from any other religion, you celebrate that they're in any other part. Or if you don't believe on anything, you think about that the person is already resting and that the person is not suffering anymore from whatever they could have suffered. So it's basically a very traditional and happy celebration. We make something that is basically in English also an altar. And what we usually do is, as you maybe have seen in Coco, we put the picture of the person in 3 levels that we put boxes, more or less, and we put very colorful paper. And we usually put food that the person used to like. Okay? Like, if you used to like, I'm just gonna name dishes, Mexican dishes like tamales, tacos.
I know, I got hungry.
And those tortas and those type of things, we put them because the person used to like. And also we put drinks, music that the person used to like, and candies, and basically the food and stuff that the person used to enjoy a lot. Why? And this is when it comes our culture that is mixed between European and the Aztec culture. Because for Aztecs, they used to believe that the soul of the people never used to go away. I mean, it's in heaven, but during those times, their souls used to come down to earth to feed themselves, to go back. And that's what we believe. By putting the food they like and stuff, in the night they're gonna come, they're gonna feed themselves with the food we put, and then they go away back to heaven. So they can enjoy the time at least once again in the house with us, and then they go away.
So cute, actually.
And this is what basically narrates in Coco. Like, basically the ghosts, they come. And then they go away again, including dogs, including those type of things. And also we do custom parties, very different from Halloween, because usually, I mean, we can dress of monsters and those type of things, but usually here we dress more like of Mexican singers or those type of things.
I've seen that on social media, on Instagram. Yeah.
Exactly. It's very cool. Usually Day of the Dead is like a family thing. Otherwise, Halloween's more like a friends thing. With us, Dia de Muertos is like a family thing. And yeah, usually we get together to celebrate all the dead people or beloved ones, and we eat the traditional pan de muerto, the dead bread.
That bread is amazing.
Amazing, with hot chocolate, because usually in November it's already a bit cold, so you can enjoy from those type of things.
Bread.
Yeah, pan de muerto, and it's very happy celebration. We try not to be sad, of course. For those ones that they have just lost the person, it's very sad.
Yeah, of course it's different.
But usually with the years, it turns again into a happy celebration, and it's like a party. And thanks to Coco, Day of the Dead became into a really huge thing, and now it's been already since Coco came out on Disney that there is even tourism for the Day of the Dead.
Really?
And tourists come to Mexico to see the Day of the Dead, especially to Mexico City and Michoacan. Then Michoacan is the main point of the Day of the Dead.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to be once for Day of the Dead
Yeah.
here, because I also seen on Instagram also that I think I saw in Guadalajara, it was a video that somewhere in the city they make like an exhibition and stuff like that outside.
There is a big exhibition of Day of the Dead. Tlaquepaque gets like a Coco Town.
I know.
It gets
so
like
cute.
full of umbrellas with those themes and
Uh-huh.
also the colors. You see a lot of skeletons. Women dress as the Catrina, which is like a very representative image of the Day of the Dead in Mexico. Also, all the graveyards from the city, mainly the Panteón de Belén, which is the most known graveyard of Guadalajara, is in the city center. They make like a tour, like a night tour, and I'm talking about night tour like after midnight, like tours at 12, 1, 2, 3 a.m., 4 a.m. And the thing is, like, it's one of the oldest graveyards in the city, if not the oldest. And they do like a tour of all the dead people, because there are a lot of known Mexicans there, like laying there, like writers, poets, and those type of people. And there are people that they dressed up like in those ages, and they take you around the graveyard telling you stories of those people and horror stories.
That's what your family mentioned the other day when we were talking.
Yeah, and now actually they begin in September, more or less, with the preparation and those type of things.
No, it's amazing. For every year that is your Day of the Dead, you show me what you've done, what you do, and stuff like that, and I'm like, I want to be in Mexico one day.
A very cool season, and especially because it starts being a bit cold, so you can dress up, nothing happens because
you're not boiling.
Yeah.
But you see, guys, it's very different. Well, with us, it's like a very tiny thing. You try to remember your loved ones in a nice way. You go to graveyard, you put flowers, light a candle, maybe a prayer. With you, it's like a huge party.
It's a party, basically. You're celebrating the dead people that they're fine.
Yeah, you're doing that, and now, as you said, even the tourism.
They started doing tourism the Day of the Dead, yeah.
Which is very cool. So come and visit Mexico.
Yeah, we should come and visit, especially in those times. That season.
Yeah, it's very cool. And my other celebration that I'm gonna talk about, if we celebrate in February, has nothing to do with Day of the Dead or Halloween. And I mean, Day of the Dead, it has a bit of to do with Halloween, not really, but we dress ourselves into costumes. It's basically a carnival that we celebrate in February. I think other countries in Europe also have it. And I wanted to mention it, as I said, because of the costumes, because we do dress up, and you can dress up at whatever costume you want. And that one I used to do as a child a lot, and then it's basically, we also go, let's call it trick or treating, but we don't call it trick or treating. We just go around, neighborhood, we ask for candies, and that's it. We dress into nice and cute costumes. And the point of this carnival in February is and it apparently started before Christ, so it's like super old, super ancient. And for what I remember, I told us in school, and I've read a bit on the internet, is basically that we dress like that. And wait, like, I'm losing myself. Let me explain you first the thing. Also, in towns, in tiny cities in Slovenia, they make like a big carnival, like where everyone can join. And some people actually dress like a thing / animal. I don't know what it is. And the point of that is that you join with your costumes and stuff. It's very happy, has music, has everything. And what we say is like that with that, you're kind of telling the winter to go away.
Oh, God.
Yes. Why? Because after this carnival, it's supposed that nice and warm weather and spring is coming. It's basically that. It's like a cute celebration, I suppose.
It sounds kind of similar to something they do in Germany. Also, like when they turn from winter to spring.
It's something that we do when we turn from winter to spring. And as I said, they celebrate in other countries in Europe as well. But yeah, that's basically what we do. We dress in costumes in February and have a celebration and a party in tiny cities, towns, to
Yeah, to tell winter
to
go
go
away.
away.
Yeah. Well, that's very nice, and actually, I would also like to be once there just to see.
It's very fun. I have very cute memories as a child when we used to dress up, me and my friends, and I remember we used to, in school, we used to be like, okay, what are you gonna be this year? As like,
Yeah.
what is gonna be your costume? And we were all excited, getting our costumes ready, and then going for our candies and stuff like
No,
that.
it's a very cool thing,
It was
actually.
cute.
Well, maybe this year I can see something if they're not really special with pandemic to begin, if I can stay
Maybe.
that long.
I'll see if I'll investigate. Maybe we can take you so you
Yeah,
see that
they can take
tradition.
me. No, that's a very cool thing. One day I'm gonna see.
Yes.
Okay, cool guys. So now that we share with you basically what we do celebrate in our countries and our tradition, let's pass to the last part of the episode, and that's when, of course, we know it's Halloween, and how is Halloween without a horror story. So
Yeah.
we want to share with you, each one of us, a creepy experience that we have experienced
I know.
for real in our lives, and well, yeah, basically end up with that. Let's begin with you.
With me. Okay. You already know the story. I said the story the other day, but anyways, the creepy story that happened to me is actually it happened in my building where I live. And the thing is, let me describe you my building very fast. It was built 34, 35 years ago when there was still Yugoslavia, communism, blah blah, etc. So it has the design of old communist building. And how it was before in my building couple of years ago was that in my floor where I live on the third floor. We have like a huge common hallway where you have like the stairs and the elevator. Either you can choose go and take the stairs or go with the elevator. And then we have like two tiny hallways where the apartments are. And in that two tiny hallways we had light. We went, we turned on the light, and voila, there was light in the night. But in this big common hallway that we have in my floor, as long as I can remember, since I was a child, there was never light. The light never worked on my floor in that common hallway, because in the other floors, like on the ones below in the common hallway, they always used to have the light. They went, they turn it on, and that's it. But in mine, there was never. I don't know why they never fixed it. I don't know. Don't ask me. And what happened was I used to go, I don't remember if it was high school or in university, the first year of university where I still didn't drive my car. I don't remember what it was, but I went to school by bus. In the morning, in winter time, it was 7 a.m. in winter in Europe. At 7 a.m. it's still pitch dark outside. And I go out of my apartment, I turn on the light in my tiny hallway that we have, like the common one where the apartments are, and I go out to the common one, the big one, where there is no light. And I click the button for the elevator, and I turn, because there was still a bit of light from my tiny hallway that I have, the other one, that was like not shining, but there was light, so I could see in the big one. And I turned. I had a feeling. I turned and I see down in the stairs. I see my neighbor, but the thing is, let me explain you. I have pretty crazy neighbors. My boyfriend can confirm that,
Definitely.
right? Crazy neighbors. And anyways, I see this lady, and at that moment the light had already turned off when I saw her, and all I could see was like eyes. I don't know, it was very creepy. She was staring at me. I saw her eyes and was like, what the hell? I got super scared that I ran back to my apartment. I woke up my mom at 7 in the morning, and she was like, what the hell is wrong with you? And she tells me, and I'm like, Mom, there is someone in the hallway by the stairs looking at me. And she's like, what? What are you talking about? And she all sleepy, poor thing. And I made her go downstairs with me. So I go out of the building and I can go to my bus stop, because I went by bus. And yeah, that's basically my story. At the end, I made my mom wake up at 7 in the morning, go downstairs with me, and because no, I was too scared to go alone. And I remember after school when I came home, my mom was like, "What the hell was this in the morning about?" And I told her that I saw my neighbor, that I saw someone watching me like by the stairs and looking at me with the eyes, the creepy eyes. And my mom was like, "Oh my god." But anyways, that's my creepy story.
And I need to say that the neighbors she has, they're terrible. They are all a bunch of crazy people. Seriously, they're creepy, and I understand. I mean, this story I knew it before, but yeah, the first time she was telling me, I was like, "What the hell is wrong with that lady?"
And exactly. I have crazy neighbors, and that's why I got scared. And it was dark, winter time, and no, too lonely, no light, no. Now, thanks God, they put in my building automatic light, so we don't struggle with that anymore. But I got seriously, seriously scared. And I mean, maybe it's hard for you guys to imagine how my building is and like the floor where I live, because obviously we're never there. But for example, you've been, you know,
it's kind of creepy.
It's kind of creepy.
Yeah, it's one of those buildings that you see in horror movies that something is gonna happen. Or imagine like an old hotel, more or less. It's like that, like an old hotel for a movie. So yeah, it's kind of creepy, the building. I need to say that.
So that's like the creepiest thing that happened to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's not something related to ghosts and stuff.
No,
but it's creepy.
It's creepy.
Come on, guys. Sometimes, and I need to say, sometimes humans are even creepier than to imagine ghosts and stuff.
I know. I know.
But well, now it's my turn. Mine indifference is something that has to be with, I don't know if it's a ghost. I don't even know. The only thing I know that I was literally very scared, and I have my cousins and one uncle that can relate to this story because
I heard the story. Yeah, it's a good one.
The four of us lived it together. So basically, years ago, I think it was like more or less like 14 or 13 years old. We went to a state that is southern of mine, Michoacan. Okay. And my family was with us, and all of us were together going to the trip. And basically, it was one of those trips that you leave in the middle of the night so you can arrive and have breakfast already at your destination. So like that, you don't pay an extra night of hotel, and you basically sleep in the bus. And for that, we needed to go out from a very old house in the middle of the city center from the guide, the one that it was organizing the trip. So basically, the tour guide. The thing is, you need to know that this house is more or less like a street away, more or less, from the graveyard I was talking about, Belen.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was more or less like 1 a.m. because the bus was supposed to come more or less like at 2. And my cousins and my uncle and me were talking outside of the house. Of course, imagine the street all lonely. It was freaking 1 a.m. in the middle of the week, because it wasn't even the weekend. I think it was like a Thursday or something like that. And suddenly I remember my cousin, the girl, saying like, "Hey, are you looking?" What? She said like, "Hey, what the hell is wrong with that old lady?" And she pointed at one street that it was like in front of us. And guys, we saw clearly an old lady, literally very old lady, that she was walking in the middle of the street, but almost at the intersection of the end of the street. We were more or less like at the middle part of the street, and she was like at the end.
Mm-hmm.
But in the middle, literally, where in the intersection was. And she was walking, but very slow, but seriously slow. But the thing is, like, since she was still a bit far away, we couldn't say like what was she doing until she started getting a bit closer. And I mean, guys, call me crazy, call me whatever you want, but the lady was floating, like she was levitating. And
I know,
call me crazy, you can call me whatever you want, but seriously, this lady was levitating. And suddenly I think we were so freaked out, or we couldn't believe what we were looking at, that we actually realized that a car was coming, because we saw the lights coming from the other street, and we were like, what the hell, it's gonna run over the lady. But the thing is, like, I think our brain couldn't even process the fact that this freaking lady was floating. And we said like, hey, watch out, like literally we started screaming like, move away from the street, because the car was coming, the car wasn't stopping. And seriously, in that moment, the car passed because it was driving fast. My cousin, the girl, screamed because literally we thought it was gonna run over the old lady. The lady was gone, never was there. The car just went in the middle, trespassed the lady, and Poof, that was it. No, guys, you can't even imagine. We even pee ourselves. Like seriously, we just went inside the house, and it's up to the day. I mean, right now, almost what, like almost 10 years ago. That
10 years ago.
Yeah, whenever we remember that story, we get literally very. I mean, not scared, but
Goosebumps.
we get goosebumps because I can't explain what I saw. Seriously, the lady was floating, and when the car passed, the lady was gone.
I think your story is more creepy than mine in the sense that your brain couldn't process that lady was floating and then in the second later she was gone.
Yeah, she was gone.
Whereas my neighbor, yes, as you said, people sometimes can be more creepy than ghosts, but she was also creepy. But I don't know. Both stories are kind of creepy. I don't know.
They're very creepy. But that's pretty much, guys. Oh my god. We are so sorry, guys. Sorry for that cut and for the noise. The phone in my house rang. So anyway, let's just forget about it. Yeah.
Forget about it.
But yeah, as we were saying, that's pretty much it. We hope you have enjoyed this special episode. If you are celebrating Halloween because it's in your tradition, happy Halloween to you. And if you're not celebrating, then happy holidays to whatever you're celebrating. Because I think a lot of countries, they also celebrate something that has to be with the dead around these dates.
Definitely.
Yeah, so we hope that you enjoy your holiday, whatever you are celebrating, and that you have also enjoyed from our creepy stories. And please, if you want to share a creepy story or a creepy experience that you have lived, just share it to us.
Please share your creepy stories. We like to listen to those type of stories.
We like to listen. Just write on email, write on Instagram, send us a story, whatever you want. And well, as usual, thank you so much, guys. And Sammy's gonna share with you.
As usual, but before also, happy holidays, happy Halloween if you celebrate it, or whatever else you celebrate. Hope your holidays. And as usual, you can find us everywhere at lovealadijonnaise podcast, Gmail, YouTube, Instagram, our podcast platforms. And as we always say, we'll be back next week with another episode.
Have an amazing weekend and holiday.